Hey, what is up everyone? Today I'm checking out the Gundam Throne Zwei from Gundam 00. So I'm going to jump right into this video mentioning why the Throne Zwei as opposed to the Eins or the Dry. Well, the reason is I don't know if it's just all in my head, but I feel like gunpla is getting a little harder and harder to come by. Like it's really starting to dry up, especially when it comes to older releases. So this I got through Bai. It is pre-owned, as you can see from the state of the box and the fact that it says Bandai in red on the front there. I'm not sure if they've reprinted this since rebranding as the Blue Bandai Spirits. But yeah, this box is looking like it's been around for a minute or two. I'm pretty sure I bought this through a shop called Surugaya, if I'm not mistaken, which I bought through Bai, and basically it's like a big pre-owned store, and yeah, you get what you get sometimes, and it does say in the description if the box is a little bit busted like this one. But yeah, I couldn't find the Eins or the Dry, but the Zwei right here is a big sword, so that makes me happy. What does not make me happy though is, well, one, this thing looks absolutely fantastic. That does make me happy. That's not the thing that doesn't make me happy. It looks awesome on the box, but what makes me not a happy mecha is the absolute complete lack of color separation on this. There is no detail, no colors besides the main ones. I know this is kind of a old style gunpla kind of thing, and it does happen, but man, this is probably one of the roughest color issues I've seen on a kit so far. But anyway, let's check out everything that's in the box. Yeah, that is it. So no spare hands, no nothing. Quite a few stickers, and this doesn't even, well, make up for the full lack of color separation whatsoever. So yeah, I'm gonna say it right off the bat. You're going to have to paint this kit or you're gonna be, well, very, very disappointed. But anyway, let's dive in a little bit deeper with the full aesthetics of this kit right here. So jumping on into that aesthetics, and I will mention right off the bat straight away that the color accuracy is ridiculously bad, but that does not mean it does not look good. This really does capture the look of the Throne Zwei really, really well. It's a very beautiful kit, and the color separation just is a letdown. If you're into painting your kits or customizing your kits, then that is not an issue, but if you are a straight builder, well, here is what it looks like with nothing done at all. That's absolutely nothing. It's so retro looking. Actually, it's more retro looking than it is. This is a kit from 2008, but it looks like a kit from 1998. At least from what I know about kits from 1998, which is not a lot. However, physically, this does look very, very nice. It really does have the signature look of the particular mecha designer, whose name I do not know off the top of my head. Good job, I have a phone right here beside me. So it's Washio Naohiro. So you may or may not notice from looking at this, but this looks exactly like, well, a Gundam frame from Iron-Blooded Orphans, because that is the exact same mechanical designer. So anything like Hajiro Boshi, Barbie, Bale, etc. was designed by that particular guy. He also designed the Thrones and the Arch Gundam. So if you're into this really out there, almost alien style design with massive side skirting thruster armors, arm mounted weaponry, and just being over the top and barely Gundam looking, then you will love this, as long as you got yourself some paint. So don't get me wrong, I do not inherently hate this kit, it's just, once again, a lot of effort will be required, so if you are into just straight building, this might need to be a miss. But besides that, it does look quite nice, and let's get it spinning. In a way, it kind of looks a bit like a chicken from the back. So there's that full 360-degree spin, so you can see absolutely everything for yourself. Again, I'll pop up the line art of this particular mecha on the side so you can compare and contrast for yourself. And once again, ignoring the color separation issues, this looks pretty much perfect. Structurally, it looks great. The colors that are present look pretty good too. And I did do a little bit of panel lining just in black, just to bring out some of the detail. And there is a lot of detail on here. Once again, it's just colors that are the issues, not the actual physical structure and detail itself. Also, I will mention I did use a pink Sharpie on the section of the GN driver solar furnace in the front there. I used, did I say pink? Because it was pink. And I used pink. Pink, pink, pink. That really does disguise the fact that it is just a clear part over a sticker, and I recommend giving that a go if you don't want to use any paint. So as for a comment on the color accuracy, this is going to have to be a short one because this has so much to mention that is not color accurate. It's, well, it would almost be easier to mention what is color accurate. There's a whole lot of colors missing, and that's not even just what's on this sheet. For example, this right here on the box, this is what it should look like. We've got a lot of that kind of almost beige type color around the back of the arm. These inner sections of the side skirtings are in black, and there's a whole bunch of colors on the sword and just, well, everywhere that this does not have. I mean, there's a big difference between this and this. You're gonna need a lot of paint. So anyway, moving on to the accessories, and here is the Throne Zwei with absolutely everything that it comes with. So that is the GN Buster Sword, the GN Handgun, and this GN Particle Transfer Cable. As for the mounted onboard weaponry, we've got the GN Fangs on the side skirting armors. These do not come off. And one thing I almost completely missed are those beam sabers up on the shoulders. I didn't even know these were beam sabers because guess what? No beams for these actually come included in the kit. What is that? Bandai, seriously. Stop with the lack of beam sabers. The beam sabers can be held in the hands like you're seeing right here, but we do not have any beams included. So I'll just leave them up here, clipped on to the shoulders. These clip on in such a way you can actually rock them forward and back, just like that. As for the hands that are included, it's just this style of block, does everything kind of hand. So it's a fist, it's a holding hand, it's all you get. Next up in here then, we've got the GN Handgun. So this is an arm mountable weapon, so definitely a precursor to stuff we see in Iron-Blooded Orphans. It mounts onto the rear of the arm just like so, onto either or. Next up in here we've got the GN docking cable for using with the Gundam Throne Zwei, in which to supply GN particles. This attaches into that GN handgun on the forearm, closes up, and looks a little something like this. The wire does the job that it needs to do, nothing sags, nothing falls. The only bad thing about this is I do not have a Gundam Throne Zwei. So the last accessory we have in here is the big old GN Buster Sword. So this is quite nice. Attaching this is pretty simple, it's just sandwich style hands like we usually get in these kits. That is, separate the hand in two, which I will admit is quite difficult. These parts, well, they stick together quite tightly. When you get it in there, it's the usual, pop it into the wrist via a ball joint attachment. And I will mention, even though this isn't as color accurate as it could be, it still looks really cool. It's big, it's robust, and this mobile suit, or this kit I should say, has absolutely no issue holding this up whatsoever. Even though color accuracy may not be its strongest aspect is it's strong. One robust mobile suit right here. And that would be the reason right here. Some of the beige parts, which are part of the structural hold together parts of this particular mobile suit, are made out of ABS plastic. When the Buster Sword is not in use, just pop it off. You can compress it down like this, or should I say snap it shut, and then store it up on this peg, up on the shoulder, just like so. Once again, nothing flops, nothing drops. This is one sturdy kit. Also, when it's not up on a action base, we've got a handy dandy butthole hider majig. So now moving on to the articulation, and honestly, when I was building this, I thought I'd be complaining about this kit at this particular part, but this thing, it's built like a brick shit house. This thing will not move a centimeter, even if you abuse the hell out of it. I mean, seriously, this is one tough kit. So jumping right into the articulation, and just like I've done in the last couple of reviews, I'm gonna go with some test poses instead of going through everything. So first off, we're gonna try out a simple crouch, and it does better than I had expected here. There are a couple of minor issues that do make this kit a bit of a pain in the butt to pose at times, and that is, well, the side skirting armor is not attached to the waist like we'd usually have, it is attached to the upper legs. So that does mean when you're moving the legs, they move with it, it causes some blocking here and there. And also inside of that then we've got old school ball joint hip sockets. So that does mean we do have some limitation there, especially out to this side. But besides that, better than expected so far. So moving into a side lunge, and this is where we're definitely starting to see the limitations with this particular kit. So, we can't kick the legs out too far as you'd expect with ball joints. In the hips, the ankles are a little bit limited, and we do not have any upper thigh rotation whatsoever, so there is a whole lot going on down here now. On top of that, some of the parts don't fit together as well as modern gunpla, so we do have some very obvious seam lines here and there, and looking from underneath, there is a lot of hollow parts here too, so once again, a bit of a rough kit. Moving on to the next pose. So this just has a peg for the waist, and fair enough, that's not the worst. You don't get any ab crunch or anything even close to an ab crunch, but it has been a while since I've had a creaky model kit, so noisy boy right here. When you're trying to rotate this at the waist as well, the side skirting armor clashes with the rear armor a lot, so it does block a lot of twisted waist poses. If you're doing a kind of slashing attack or something like that, it is a little hard to pull off because the backpack blocks the side skirting armor and the side skirting armor is attached to the legs, blocking the legs. Next up, as for a T-pose, it's just about a basic T-pose, no higher. It can't raise its arms up higher than that without rotating the shoulders around, which does look a little bit on the lame side. We also have very limited articulation at the neck as well, so looking up and down is a little bit on the underwhelming side. So yeah, on the whole, the articulation on this is very subpar. I mean, that's as low as I could get it into a kind of lunging dab sort of pose, which I usually do, and it doesn't look remotely like one at all. No ab crunch, limited shoulders, side skirting that blocks the legs from moving, and ball joint hips. So definitely not the best poser around. Anyway, that right there is it for the review, and it's kind of obvious this kit right here is bronze tier, but that does not mean it is a completely lost cause. That is just by my ranking system. So I just break it down into the 3 A's, which is the aesthetics, the accessories, and the articulation, and it kind of drops the ball on each of them. When it comes to the looks, the color accuracy is absolutely abysmal, but it is not an entire lost cause because for the most part structurally everything is there, and as you can see it looks phenomenal. If you didn't know that there was meant to be more colors there, you might actually give this a pass and go, that looks pretty cool. There is also a lot of hollow parts that you'd want to fill in if you wanted this to look like a legit cool high grade. When it comes to the second A, that of course is the accessories, which are okay for the most part. They do what they need to do and don't do any more. I would have liked to have been able to see the fangs come out, but that might be asking too much. And when it comes to the articulation, as you just saw, it is not the best poser around. You'll get 1 or 2 poses out of this, but it looks the best either just up in the air swinging its sword, or just standing there looking menacing. Anyway, as always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to come back for more reviews, and I will be seeing you next time. As always, cannot finish the video without thanking each and every one of you guys for watching, as well as those of you who support me on the channel memberships and over on Patreon, including Craig Jerry, Brian Perez, Caleb Engelhart, Sean T, and Tyler Sanders.